So back in October, a cop was speeding, no lights, no sirens. So he was driving recklessly. He didn't have his lights and sirens on. And he struck a minivan that had 5 kids in them. See, these are regular people. They're not, in your mind, a cop. These are regular people who will commit accidents, do stupid stuff, and reckless driving, don't care about other people. If these kids, because come to find out, these kids, 2 of them died. And those kids belonged to a sheriff. So in my opinion, Karma took his 2 kids out because he's a terrorist. He goes out and he can shoot people, he can murder people, he can bully people, he can, do whatever he wants. He can be a bully. These people can be bullies. We're against bullies. But cops can be bullies. We're against muggers, but cops can be muggers. We're against murderers, but cops can be murderers. We're against violence. Oh, but cops can be violent at any point in time they want to and see fit. Because they're protected. But since these 2 kids was another cop's kids, that cop's going to prison. Now, if it was your kids, it was an accident. We can make accidents. It wasn't in malice intent. But if it was an accident between you and others, plain accident. You weren't speeding, though. You weren't doing anything wrong. You accidentally run someone, kill someone. It's an accident. But you will go to prison. Not a cop. It was an accident. I accidentally pulled the trigger. Well, it's okay. You got all this qualified immunity and these other immunities and these acts and the Bill of Rights for them and to keep all them safe from accountability. And the only time they get accountability is when the people rises up or they injure or kill one of their own. There are higher class. They are supremacists. Masters are supremacists. They're above the law. 99% of the time, or 99.99% of the time, they're above the law. Guarantee you can look up every case, every cop, and not all of them's out there. You can't find all the records. ChatGPT couldn't find all the records. So it couldn't give a definitive percentage to go by. It's just a rough estimate because they hide stuff. They keep things secret. They don't document everything of their own. But they got to document everything of us. We got to be documented on every little bitty thing in our little bitty life. To where they were actually putting cameras in store, restaurant, toilets that you think is a sensor. But it's a camera, and you go and you bend over, and your butthole and everything all out to everyone, whoever's watching, so they can know what's going on in your butt crack. They're literally up your butt. In your sexual life, in your personal life. There is nothing you can keep private from them in which the 4th and 5th was created to do. Prevent them from knowing you. So you can be anonymous. preventing them from creating documents upon you. So you could be undocumented. And forcing them to leave you in the private, to leave you alone. So you can be private and live your life free. And pursue happiness. I don't like that word liberty. I wish people would look up that word liberty that keeps using that word liberty. Look up the definition of the word liberty. And look up the definition of the word freedom. They're different. They're not alike. You get permission when you have liberty. Freedom, you have no permission. No one to answer to. Oh, may I have permission to drive? Well, you got to have this, and you got to pay us this much, and, you know. Well, if they made it to where now it's just $100 to be able to have a license. Because it's a tax. They're going to pay it because they're going to want it. So we can go up as high as we want. Same thing with insurance companies and anyone else that you got to pay out money to every month. Because it's mandatory. So they could go up to any price they want to. That's why insurance is expensive for car insurance. Because it's mandatory. If it wasn't mandatory, that crap would be $5 a month. They would be making sure people was getting on it. It'd be $5 a month. It would never go up. But because they helped that company make money with a mandate, a regulation to force you to have it, then they don't have to be cheap. Nope. This is what you all don't. This is why insurance companies are expensive for car insurance. And it's only for commercial business purposes. That's what UCC was created for, the business purposes. ChatGPT still goes with what all they put in there to say, well, it don't do this and it don't do that. Yes, it does. Oh, it's not about the private. No, it's about private. Don't say private and commercial vehicle. It just says commercial motor vehicle. Auto dealer sells automobiles. They don't sell motor vehicles. And then the state and the government turns around and changes the wording of it to fit them so they can do what they want with your property because they renamed it, they retitled it, they relabeled it to fit their jurisdiction. And then if they want to, they just go ahead, well, they're using this word, they're using that. We'll just throw it in our stuff, and then we'll just say, well, it's a part of it. You can't find no loophole out of anything, but they can find loopholes out of shit. They can find loopholes out of going to prison, losing their gun rights, losing their job, and all that. So that video I watched is on Here's the Deal. So if you want, you can watch it. The cop was being reckless, or the man acting as a cop was being reckless. They're not cops. They are actors. When you go into a job, in the job, you are a cashier. You are a meat man in a meat market. You're an appliance person, but when you're outside of that, you're a regular person. But even if you're in there, you're still a regular person. You're still a Smo Joe. And that's all these cops are, these authorities, they're Smo Joes. Pretending to be all high and mighty and something they're not. Because you allow it. You allow them to live in retarded world. I'm this, I'm that, when they weren't born to be this or that. Like we say, if we're going to have a government, we're going to call them cops, not humans, then you have to accept trans people. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you're going to accept all these others that have their own titles and labels and say they're this when they're not, you have to accept trans and gay people and child molesters. Because the cops, the people working as cops, are just as bad and can be worse because they don't have to go to jail. And if they do, the governor or the president, if someone asks them, can pardon them. And Trump's done it. I guarantee you all these governors probably have let out cops who were in the jail for shooting someone when they were in the wrong, killing someone when they were in the wrong, raping some child or whatever when they were in the wrong, went to prison for it, or even just jail. This system protects criminals, and that's what the Constitution was created for anyways. To actually protect criminals too. That's why there's a 4th and 5th. You need a warrant. And you don't say anything to incriminate yourself or you will be going to jail or prison. They have to have evidence to put you in jail or prison. They can't go by hearsay, word of mouth, I think, I believe. They can't go by that. And most of them do. And that's immoral. You go by factual evidence with no doubt that they were there, they did this, we got hair, we got DNA, we got... Word of mouth is nothing. Jesus would not punish someone on word of mouth if he didn't know for himself that that person is who these others are saying. Because people hate people and make up stuff. Even group up and hate on someone and make up stuff about that someone. They do it to people they say are criminals. They do it to people who are innocent and just want people to believe they're criminals when they're not. No victim if there's no complaint form. Plain and simple, that's the law. You can look it up. If there's no complaint form, there's no crime. There has to be a victim to file a complaint. Now, a dead person can't file a complaint, but that's the victim. Did that dead person say, well, before I die, if something ever happens to me, I'm going to put everything in your hands. You're going to speak for me and in court and whatever, and it's all put down and notarized and put on the record and everything with the government or the state. So that way, if something happens, somebody murders you or you're unconscious in the hospital, there's someone to speak for you because you gave that person the permission to. If you don't do that and you're out of it, you're dead, nobody can really speak for you. Because you didn't give anyone that permission to do so. A judge and a prosecutor can only speak for or work under the law. They can't go by assumptions and presumptions and excuses and just a suspicion and or whatever. It has nothing to do with factual evidence. Truth. So, it sucks. Well, this video will be up after this month when my data's up. I can't put this one up. It's already almost 15 minutes, so. And we're getting close to Christmas. A few more days. That way you'll know when I made this one. 26th. Or not 26th. 22nd. Yeah, today's 22nd December. So, but yeah, that cop's gonna go to fucking prison. I wish they'd given the death penalty. That'd be something they gave him a death penalty. That'd be the first cop given the death penalty. But I doubt it. They got qualified immunity from that too. They deprived them kids of their right to life. Pursue the happiness, pursue the happiness when that cop did what he did and actually took their lives. But in my opinion, if he wasn't recklessly driving and all that, it just happened to happen. Accident, shouldn't get in trouble. Accidents happen. Everybody says that. Accidents happen. You don't get in trouble for accidents. You get in trouble for if you go out with the intention to do bad things to other people, their property, or whatever. Then something needs to happen to you. You're bad. Everybody's a sinner. Everybody can sin. Nobody can not sin. Therefore, we can't have authority. Because you put any man in authority, they're going to sin. They're going to do bad things. Regardless. Because they know they can't get in trouble. If you could go out and beat people up and know you wouldn't get in trouble, you'd go do it. If you could, that's these cops. These people working as cops. If you could go out, you can just snatch up a kid, you can fill them up, check it for drugs, feel their butt crack, their butt, child molestation, all but we're just searching for something. But meanwhile, that man is sitting there with his hands on that little kid, boy or girl, or teenager, especially a girl, and is loving it. And don't even have to show it. Oh, yeah, I get to, no woman do it. Even a woman can be a pedophile. There are plenty of women caught being pedophiles. Teachers. Oh, you got kids going in there and you think, teachers, like cops, they're safe. They're with teachers. No, they're with regular human beings that can commit bad things against your children. When you put them out there to other people you don't know. That's the problem. Nobody goes around and gets to know these teachers, hangs with them, goes fishing with them, goes whatever. Because they're too busy having to work. So all this stuff can happen. They can't protect their own kids. Oh, we're here to protect your kids. Well, really, they're not. While you go out and help them make more money off of taxation. You're working for the government. Taxation is something you are working to give out. You're working for them. You're giving them money. You're working for them, but to give them money. That's why I said in other videos. And you can watch that video if you listen close enough. You can hear the sheriff says, yes, you do. When I said, I do not work for you. And he said flat out, yes, you do. So if I work for them, then where's my fucking paycheck from the state if I work for the state? Or if I work for the authority? Where's my fucking paycheck? I want it now. A sheriff admitted I am working for the state. Where's my paycheck or I'm suing you for all my back pay from 18 to now. 33 years. Where's my pay? If I work for you. So you all take care. Bye.